this reality is really interesting. Every subject really is two subjects: the presence of what is wanted and the absence of that which is wanted. The presence and the absence. The presence of what you want and the absence of what you want. So whenever you know the absence of what you want, whenever you know you want more money, then you now have access to the opposite side of the stick, which is more money. But since right now in this moment you don't have the more money, you have all the reason to continue to think about and offer thought about the absence of money that you're feeling. But you have to learn how to feel your way down the path. You have to learn how to feel your way to more money, because that's how you feel your way to all your manifestations. It's not about thinking. It's not about being so fancy with your thoughts or being so very diligent with your thoughts. It's about feeling your way, because now when you're feeling, the emotion can become the platform that all the details can start to fill in with. The thoughts can start to come, because now you're dealing with things vibrationally. And so have you ever felt like, okay, you know what, like if this thing that I want doesn't come, then I'll be so disappointed. What that really is about is like, that disappointment really is, it's like when you know what you want, you really don't want the opposite of it. When you want the fame, you really don't want to be nobody. When you really want to be rich, you really don't want to be poor. And so it's always one subject, but there's two sticks. And however your life is playing is whatever is it will show you your habit of thought. Basically, which side of the stick are you spending more of your time on? And you can really tell with, the masters and the celebrities of your world, for example, because one day they're famous and the next day they have fallen, so deep down the hole. It's because it's always opposite sides. It's like when you're rich, you're almost afraid of being poor again. You're afraid of not having enough money, because it's the opposite side of the stick. It's always like that, because that's how reality is. There's wanted and unwanted everywhere, in every particle of the universe, wanted and unwanted. And it's just always going to be like that, because that's how contrast works. That's the reality that you truly signed up for. You are source energy. You're an extension of source energy, and you're meant to become those two aspects, the source energy part of you and the physical. We're meant to become blended in one unison, in one perspective. And that's what your emotions are about: how well you're meshing or how well you're not meshing. And negative emotions get to the point where they truly become paralyzing, and like you can't move forward, because you want something that you really don't have the habit of thought that will support you in that moment. And so when you talk more about what you want, that's really what all of this is about, because we really understand now that, hey, I'm never going to get there. There's no end destination. It's just about the becoming. And we have to enjoy the becoming, because we're always going to be becoming. We're never going to look around and have everything that we want in one moment, because that's not how creatives work. Reality can never be, for dreamers like us, reality can never be enough, because we always want more. We want more. We can't help but be creators. And that's something that we all have to really understand, because when you're a dreamer, then the perspective that you hold means that whenever you're living contrast, you're siphoning the best parts of it. You're always asking for big things, while someone might be like, yeah, I just want a good job. You're thinking, I want to have the best job in the world, and I want it to fulfill me, and I want to be rich, and I want to have a big house. And so you're always reaching for the bigger stuff, because you just have a taste for bigger things. But they're not big in the sense where it needs more energy. It's big in the sense where the creation itself is big. Like the house, it's big. The finances are big. But it's just interesting, because it's every subject is two subjects. So now whenever you're approaching the subject like money, career, YouTube success, music, what side of the stick are you on? Are you on the absent side, or are you on the present side? It's really all about that. And it's about talking more about the presence, talking more in the direction of what you want. And usually that's hard, because it's not hard, it's just it takes a good focuser, because you're always going to be smack dab right in the middle of the absence of what you want. And it's perceived because it's real. Well, it's perceived, yes, but it's also real. Everyone will join in and be like, yeah, it's not like we don't see the money either, we don't see the views either, but you have to be that vibrational creature that you always knew you could be. And understand that the vortex has the vibrational becoming of everything that I want. So I'm going to talk more about what I want. So what does it mean to really talk about more of what I want? Well, when we're talking more about what we want, we're talking about what we want as if it's already here right now, and not in the sense where we're faking our vibration. We're talking about it in a way that actually is very satisfying, because when we talk about what we want, usually when there's not a lot of resistance, it actually feels really good. The path can really start to light up. You see, all you really have to do is just be satisfied with where you stand, and the clarity will always come. The next step that your inner being has set up for you will always come, and you just want to be satisfied, because being satisfied is just the easiest way to say, like, blended with your source energy. That's what you really want. And so when people come after you and they're like, hey, like, what have you been creating lately? You'll be like, well, I've been creating a lot of clarity and a lot of happiness. And it's funny, because when you start talking like that, the things really start coming in the forms of avalanches, because it's not The thing is, it's there and it's not being held back. You're just unaware of it. That's the best way to say it. You're just unaware of it. You're not paying attention to it because of what side of the stick that you're on. But if you're on the present side of the stick on this subject enough, then you're good. It has to manifest because we're dealing with the laws of the universe that are always consistent. And yes, every approach is not for everyone at every time. Everything is really subject to not only change, but subject to wherever you are emotionally. So you have to choose whatever process is ready for you or is best for you in that moment based on how you feel. And so when we talk about what we want, it truly is just so fun. It's fun to talk about what we want because that's what it's all about. When we talk about what we want, we really know what we don't want. We really know that we don't want to be poor, but we have to leave the poorness out of the equation because usually right now, this moment, we're poor and that's what we want to be rich. But we're saying that's the thing. The conditions of your reality, the ones that gave birth to the very desire itself, are the very conditions that will hold you from actually going in the direction of that desire. Isn't that crazy? That's just the nature of your reality. So it's like, why the hell would I sign up for that? Why the hell would I sign up for so much work? And we're like, it's not that much. It's not that hard when you really understand that you have a guidance system that's literally telling you what you're doing, where you're focusing, where your trend of thought is leading, will lead you to. And so we're like, it's from your non-physical standpoint, you're like, that sounds really lit. It sounds fun. I'm actually really down for that because I can't get it wrong. I can't get it wrong and I can't get it done and I have all of eternity. And we totally agree with that because you have all of eternity to get it right. But we just know that it's a lot of work to get a new body. And so it's really worth getting it right now, where you stand. And what that looks like is just feeling as good as you can. And talk about what we want because we know that negative emotion is a good thing. We know that our guidance system is just always on. We always know that we're broadcasting and that our broadcast right now is all that matters. And we also know that we can't get it wrong and we cannot get it done. And we're over the absence. We have diffused the absence from our vibration because logically we're always going to be in a place where what we want is perceived to be absent right now because that's just the nature of this reality. But here's the thing, it's the stick. It's literally a long ass stick. Presence and absence. So when you know what you want is absent, you have to feel for the presence of it, and that's hard. And it's hard because it takes focus. You can't be a sloppy thinker. And it's almost like, it almost feels like, damn, I wish I didn't want that because I really don't want the absence of it. And I felt a lot better when I didn't really want it because it's just easier. It was just easier because I could be sloppy in my thinking and it didn't really matter. Like I wasn't pushed up against the wall. Every thought truly didn't count. But the more you become when you really understand the law of attraction, then you're like, I have to talk about what I want. I need to get to where I want to go, and where I want to go is there's no end in destination. I need to go in the direction of it. I need to talk about what I want because I can't handle negative emotion. It's not something that I can't feel negative emotion without knowing what I'm doing. And that's truly how it goes. That is truly just how it goes. You know too much. You just know too much. So keep talking about what you want. Keep talking about what you want, and let talking about what you want. Don't make it work. Think of it as something like, because we know that you can talk about what you want, and the universe will support. Your momentum will start to kick in. When you hold a thought for 17 seconds, another thought joins it. So you don't really have to do that much. All you really have to do is hit that 17-second mark, and then the universe will do the rest of it. The momentum of law of attraction will do the rest of the work for you. And then it's interesting because as the thoughts start rolling, the frequency of what you want, the presence of it literally starts to become clearer and clearer and clearer. You activate it, and so as you activate the vibration of it, it becomes clear. Like the clouds are literally the fog parts, and you realize it becomes fully there physically, and you can translate it. We want everything for you to be something that you realize. We want everything for you to be manifested, but we just know that you're never going to truly get to the end. So we're like, just chill out and talk about what you want, and don't really let the absence of it right now bother you that much, because there's nothing you can really do about it, one. And two, it's just always going to be like that. What you want is always going to be absent, so you're always going to have to feel forward for it. You're always going to be having that stick, and there's going to be the presence on one side and the absence on one side, and your emotions will tell you which side of the stick you're on. And now, as a result of this video, you know which side of the stick that you want to be on. You want to be on the presence because it feels good.